There is a slow-moving crisis unfolding in America, one that doesn't make headlines until something goes missing. Paycheck, a prescription, package that was supposed to be there, but isn't. Behind that frustration is an institution older than the country itself, the United States Postal Service, now facing one of the most serious challenges in its history. Let's be clear, this isn't just about late mail. Mail volume, the core of its business, has been cut nearly in half over the past 2 decades. And leadership is warning that without major changes, the agency could run out of cash as early as 2026 or 2027. That's not mismanagement. That's a system being squeezed from every direction at once. Technology replaced letters with email and online payments, wiping out the Postal Service's most profitable product. E-commerce stepped in with packages, but those packages are heavier, more expensive to deliver, and often less profitable, especially in rural areas. And here's the part most people don't realize. The Postal Service doesn't get to pick and choose. It is legally required to deliver to more than 170 million addresses 6 days a week, no matter how remote, no matter how costly. Private companies can walk away from unprofitable routes. Postal Service cannot. So the United States Postal Service is running a 21st century race with a 20th century engine under 19th century rules, and the cracks are starting to show. Rising costs, service delays, price increases, and growing questions about whether the current model could even hold. Because this isn't just about logistics, it's about something bigger. The Postal Service represents one of the last universal promises in America that no matter where you live, you are connected. Same service, same price, same access, and now that promise is under pressure. So the real question isn't just whether the post office can survive, it's whether we still believe in the idea behind it.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life to discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's going good.
Feels like spring.
Well, it's supposed to be getting a lot of rain here, so I've got my water containers out. To start
watering your plants.
Yeah, well, I got to start refilling the rain barrels because I'm out of rainwater right now. So I've got to put out all the containers around the roof line and let them fill up. And I just got a new roof on my house. I hope that don't screw it all up, but it's what I have.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been a
new
wet
roof won't be dropping as much crap and contaminants on it, so it might improve it.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's hopefully.
Do you have the gutter system that you're using, or are you just collecting what just runs off the roof?
I have the way I have it. That's the way I've done it for years. I do not have a gutter system designed to go directly into the barrel, which is what I want to do, but I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I've just, for whatever reason, I've just kind of always put them underneath the drip line of the roof, and I've collected all the rainwater I've needed.
Okay.
If you use the gutter system, you can come up with a small filtration system on it.
Yeah, and I've got 3 big rain barrels that I have in my greenhouse.
If he puts gutters, he may have an overabundance of rainwater.
Yeah,
yeah.
You gotta, you have to have something that is kind of a multiplier, to really funnel that water. Because you just put it out in the open.
Yeah,
if it rains an inch, it's all you're going to have in there is an inch of rain. So. You need something to kind of multiply that. So
you just need one big funnel.
You have little buckets, or you got some no, I got some food grade 55-gallon.
No, I got
plastics?
some big wide.
Like
big
the
wide
3x3 with the metal thing around them. Okay,
yeah. I got big containers, and then I just scoop it out and put it into the rain barrel. So I'm hopefully, I think tonight and going into tomorrow, we're supposed to be getting a lot of rain. So. I told Trace, I said, you're going to have have all these barrels all over the place. So, she likes the rain.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. She likes the rainwater too, because, matter of fact, today she goes, do you have any rainwater? Because I want to water my indoor plants. So she went out there and grabbed some. So I've got some. So
nice.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell when it feels more like spring around here after like these first like big rainstorms come through. Everything just gets greener all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
I walked
pollen.
yeah, you're right. I walked outside like 2-3 days ago, and I was like, man, everything looks so vibrantly green right now because it's that first like big
Nothing
rainstorm.
like rain.
And it's also everything's warmer now too. It's the climate has changed, but it just I don't know. It's just that it just is that first like flip switch moment where I was like, oh, everything's so bright.
Tracy and I, we planted all our herbs.
Yeah.
So we got some new stuff in the in some pots. So
Yeah.
man, after that, it's been kind of off and on raining. Man, I tell you,
Yeah.
we've just like blown up.
Of
I mean,
course.
it's unbelievable just seeing them.
My new roommates talked about trying to make some like cucumbers or tomatoes or something like that.
You got the yard
Yeah, I was
for
gonna
it.
say he's been talking about
Oh
it.
yeah,
I was
with
like,
this big lot.
I
yeah,
know.
you could easily do something.
He was saying we could. Anyways, he's been talking about that for a while. So
Yeah, we got some parsley, got some basil,
oh, fun.
got some green onions.
Yeah,
Just kinda
onions.
some-
Green onions are good.
And I got a bunch of chives.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I got a
Love
bunch
that.
of chives I've had for years.
yeah.
Matter of fact, it pops up all over the yard and stuff like that. So yeah.
If you ever have an abundance of chives, just let me know. I'll buy some
right.
off you.
But
I love making some potatoes, man, with some chives and some.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, love
so
it.
we got some things, and we may get a few more things. I don't know yet.
That's
and,
fun.
I told her, I said, "Is there any other things that you
Yeah.
like to use
Speak now
for cooking?"
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
like fennel.
Yeah.
Make a dill sauce or something
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. I've never done it before, but I've always wanted to have like potatoes and carrots and stuff like that, like bunch of root vegetables or whatever, like have in there. with
Yeah,
a
I
flower
don't
bed.
really have a means of really growing a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
I just don't believe my back. I don't really have a backyard.
Right.
You
at
could do
all.
some raised gardens or something.
I just don't even have room for that. I would have to tear down the greenhouse, and I mean, if I decide to get rid of my greenhouse, then I would have some room to put some
in
raised.
the greenhouse?
Because it probably filled with other stuff.
Yeah, it's because it got a bunch of other stuff in it. It's the problem.
Yeah,
Well, just manage the space, I guess,
You
right?
know, yeah. So, anyways.
I always want to try hydroponics.
Oh yeah, I've seen one of those before. I saw like a big one. Like it was.
I had some god kids that did that. They
Yeah?
started off as a school project.
Yeah.
But he just took off with it, and
Yeah,
it got
I think.
massive.
What are the? I think it was Sprouts.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine's
He
grandma
even
had
went
one.
so far as to have goldfish in it,
Get out.
or
What?
some kind of a fish in it.
Okay.
I
Well,
wonder if it's
what do they
koi.
do? It may have been koi. What do they do? They poop.
Oh,
they
make
fertilizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and they had some clear plexiglass
Yeah.
tubes in some of it. I think it was
Wow.
kind of cool.
That sounds elaborate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
so
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's about it. So I think tomorrow is supposed to be a kind of a rain out. And
Yeah.
So we did most of our yard work, and what we wanted to do, we weeded and went to a rock place today and had to go buy some rock
Okay.
to kind of fill out some
Like decorative rocks or like a path
for the
rock?
bed for beds for
Okay.
like to kind of put alongside my house.
Yeah.
I had kind of started this, and I never went back and kind of finished it. But we did that today, so got
Nice.
that done. I actually went out. We both went out this morning, ran,
Okay.
got my 5 miles in.
Okay.
I think she got herself about 2 miles in.
Nice.
So
That's
it was
awesome.
a very productive day.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
so
I people always talk bad about some like dreary days, but I'm not gonna lie. Every now and then, I like it. I like being able to stay inside and have a nice rainy day. And I know it's not always good all the time.
Can't
but it's-
appreciate the sun if you
yeah,
can't
that's what I'm
tolerate the
yeah.
rain.
There's a lot of people in my life recently been like, it was raining a little bit, and I was like, we've had a lot of nice sunny days. The weather's not been too bad, and I was like, you have a nice little rainy day where yes, it's a little unfortunate some days when you have to go run errands or something, but if you have the opportunity to just kind of chill at the house, I'm like, I love it. It's nice. It's relaxing. It makes me feel, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but a lot of people I've been talking to have been talking trash about a nice rainy day. And I'm like, it's not that bad. Everyone chill out. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think was probably going to happen maybe tomorrow. So, but what we got on the dock for today, I actually recently had something with it.
I think I remember you
did.
talking about the post office not, screwing something up,
Yeah,
and
but I think that happened after we talked about doing this episode possibly. And I was like, I've never really had any problems. And then lo and behold, I didn't knock on any wood.
Yep. The post office has got the issues right now.
Boy, do they.
Yeah.
When I was telling some friends about the post office and we were going to do the episode on the United States Postal Service, USPS, they were like, was the Pony Express the starting of the Postal Service? And I went, no, actually the Postal Service started with Benjamin Franklin being the first Postmaster General in 1775.
Really?
Yes, the year before we became a country.
Wow.
And but the Pony Express is kind of the romantical part of it.
Yeah.
But it lasted less than 2 years.
The Pony Express did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what killed the Pony Express? The
No.
telegraph.
Oh, okay.
So think about that. As in Jason's intro, it talks about all the electronics that are coming in. You know, the emails,
Doing things on your phone, paying bills
everything on your phone.
Yeah.
Well, it was electronics technically that killed the Pony Express.
Interesting.
Because now you could just telegraph something.
Right.
And but the Pony Express actually went from, I think it's somewhere in Missouri, all the way to Sacramento and then down another extension to San Francisco.
Wow.
I remember learning a whole lot about that in like, what was it, like history, civics class or whatever it is back in like middle school, high school time.
But the modern Postal Service started in 1971.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
That early or late, however you want to call it, late?
Probably the iteration of how we
we
understand
see
it today.
The modern USPS started then, but the original, I mean, the Postal Service started in
We've had some version of
1775.
it. Yeah.
You know, I didn't even know this until I started reading that Benjamin Franklin was the first Postmaster General.
Makes sense. So I guess you said 1971?
Yes.
Okay, so 1971, I guess, was like when was it like the department, or like how did that, like,
it was
USPS
it had
got
to have
founded?
been probably an act of Congress or something that did, whatever they did. I don't know. Stoney may have that information.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. To be honest with you, in 71, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, it was the American postal system before.
Okay.
And in 71, it became modernized, and they started.
Okay.
The
Like a system,
modernization of it came into it.
Probably some
And
standardization of it also.
That's it. Yeah. And that's when it became the United States Postal Service.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
It's kind of funny that the Pony Express wasn't the founder, but it was this little niche in there that got everybody thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting. It went from April 1860 to October 1861.
Okay. There you go.
That was the Pony
That's
Express.
It. Wow. Mm-hmm. The crazy thing is too, is like, I know that like one of my local post offices, I think, was built in the early 80s.
Probably
and
so.
It's crazy to think about that one of my local post offices is only probably 10 years after when it was founded.
That basically showed you that how things were connected back at that time. I mean, you can have this small little town with one traffic light. If it even had a traffic light, and maybe a building, but there was a post office there, and that basically put you on the map.
Yeah.
I mean, it did. And so everybody had, everywhere you went, they had a post office.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. That was the connective tissue. That's kind of what kind of connected the United States.
There was a
communities.
Couple of big expansions, and later I want to get into maybe some of the adaptation of the Postal Service.
Yeah.
But in 1863, free city delivery began.
Okay.
In 1896, rural free delivery began.
Wow, so almost 30 years later.
In 1913, the parcel post begins. Then in 1918, scheduled airmail began.
Wow.
And think about this. This was crazy to me. In 1963, the zip code was introduced.
Really?
Yes.
1963?
Yes.
That's insane.
And in 1971, the USPS begins operations as the modern agency.
Wow.
Well,
I also know that, like, supposedly, I think, I I don't know all the details about it. I was going to say how do they decide on zip codes for things, but I think that's all also strategically decided as well. But anyways,
who knows what system they?
I know the
figured
area. I know
out.
area codes are like they're just whatever. I think they just put up, but I think zip codes are specifically for like certain areas. But that's crazy to think about.
I think the 01 starts in the middle of downtown, like maybe around City Hall or something.
Right.
And then they pick another spot, and that's 02. Then and they just keep going out from there. And the further you get out, maybe the higher your number. That's interesting. Probably didn't think about to look at that. I should have.
Like I said, I know for a fact that I think like phone number area codes don't go by any kind of like no two numbers beside each other are probably in the same area. But I know zip codes are in the opposite. Where like you said, there's like a strategic reason for that. But it's crazy to think that the 60s is when that happened. It feels like I don't know.
The post office, that was, probably no one at the time ever thought that the world would evolve the way it did.
Right.
And now what we have.
Yeah.
Everybody's paying their bills online.
Yeah.
Nobody's putting anything in the mail anymore. They're just not. I mean, it's direct deposit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just pay my bill through
or
my
like
bank,
wire transfer. Yeah.
No
Take
one
it
is
out.
doing that anymore. So I'm surprised.
Well, that's not true. No one. There's a lot of people that still are, but it's more of your older, non-techie type people. So what are we going to do? We're just going to cut those people off?
No.
Because by law, the United States Postal Service must still provide service, no matter if they lose money.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They have a universal service obligation to the citizens of America to provide broad, affordable service, no matter where they live.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, like, I still, there is a certain person that I pay my bill to that it's all, she does things very old fashioned, so she doesn't want any kind of like Cash App or any sort of new thing like that. And she doesn't like cash, so she prefers me to do cashier's checks or what are they called? Like a money order of some kind. So a lot of times I go to the post office probably once a month to
get a money order.
And then I literally just put it in an envelope and put it right back in the post office. So
I know some people can get
in 2024 there was 168.6 million delivery points in America, but that went up to 170.4 million in 2025. There are 31,063 Postal Service managed retail stores and 33,780 total retail offices, including contract locations, employing about 639,000 employees at the end of 2024.
Wow.
And I still think they're working on the numbers.
I think a lot of the employees of the post office, there's a lot of veterans working for the post office because it was almost like a shoe-in. You're a veteran. And
Interesting.
It was a good job. It paid well.
Mm-hmm.
From what
you
I
had
understand.
benefits. You had
benefits.
all you wanted to go work to the post office. Until people started going postal.
Okay.
Yeah.
My best friend's mom, I think, used to work for my roommate. I think his mom used to work for the post office for a long time.
I'd be very curious what her experience.
I didn't think about that until you just said that.
Been interesting to bring a guest on as someone who worked for the post office.
Right.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is they've got issues right now, and of course, the post office was all up in the news during the 2020 presidential election about how all that was going down. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know how they pull out of this because something's going to have to change.
Yeah.
You just can't keep losing that kind of money.
Well, the U.S. government can because we just write the checks for it every year in our taxes. Technically they can.
I think we far have exceeded what we actually pay in taxes now.
By billions.
They're just printing money right now to do this stuff. So, I think last time I saw we're $37 trillion in debt. So as long as the petrodollar stays as is. I worry about that with the current things going on in the world right now. I really worry if somehow other countries start trading oil in a different currency.
Right.
That's why, since we're the reserve currency of the world, why we're able to just keep printing money, where other countries can't do that.
Right.
And just how we ended up bankrupting Soviet Union during the 80s.
Yeah.
With during the Reagan years, they basically just spent them into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
They can't pay their bills anymore.
In 2025, the USPS reported $80.5 billion in operating revenue, nearly $89.8 billion in operating expenses, which is about $9 billion in net loss. Now, let's see, it says first-class mail revenue rose by $370 million, but some other things kind of went down. In 2024, and this is kind of interesting because it seems to be going up a little bit, they had $79.5 billion operating, $89.5 billion in GAAP operating expenses, so about a $9.5 billion loss for 2024. So they seem to be doing a couple of things a little bit better, maybe, but still, they lost $1.8 billion in 2024 and $2.3 billion in 23.
Yeah, I'm the number I see here since 2007, the Postal Service has racked up over $100 billion in total losses.
Golly.
That's a government accounting office.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How? I guess how? Like what? Like what is
with their taxes?
Okay,
just
okay.
keep
Because
paying it and
the
they keep
fact of the
borrowing
matter,
money.
as long as it's an organization bound by statute,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and they don't care until it becomes an issue. I mean, it's just
For so long, the Postal Service was really the only self-generating operation in America. Defense.
Yeah.
Write the check,
Right,
billions,
make it happen.
billions, and billions of dollars. This, welfare, whatever. There's no income coming in for them. So we look at it more like a business than we do anything else.
Right.
It's just another governing function of America.
Right.
We only look at it as we still have to buy that stamp. We still have to go pay $8. Or what was the old one? For $5, if it fits, it ships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they had income coming in. Now that income's not there, but it's still a service that the government provides.
Wow.
They're just trying to do
Perpetuate
something.
it. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But it's just another service, like the military,
You're
like
right,
you
you're
know,
right.
everything else.
well, in essence, any government oriented system.
Right.
It's not operating on a profit model. It
Right.
just isn't. And
But for so long, it was profitable.
yeah, because it kind of had a
because the world ran
captured.
off of it. Yeah.
You had a captured market. Everybody had to mail letters. I
Then
mean,
you
there
had,
was
UPS. Then you
Yeah.
had, all these other companies that came in and started taking the
Right.
packaging and stuff away from them.
Yep.
So
I mean, of course, I hate to say it, but I also hate Amazon. But Amazon's a big thing too.
Yes.
They have trucks everywhere.
Well,
I mean, they are littering the streets.
I love how you mention that because Amazon can decide not to deliver to an address.
Right.
And then they turn it over to the U.S. Postal Service,
Right.
who takes it to that address.
And that's
the
what
Postal Service by law cannot, for any reason, not go to an address.
and that's what happened with me. I had a package that was worth approximately $80-something. And it was I'll go ahead and call them out because I've always hated
Call
their
them out.
DHL.
Okay.
It was shipped
Yes.
by DHL, and I've only ever had problems with DHL. And I was like, so the second I got the tracking number for it, I was like, I don't like the feeling of that.
Yeah.
And I in my pit, I
Did
don't
you
know
feel
why.
dirty again?
I don't. Dude, I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, I don't like.
Sure.
Anyways, and then of course, apparently they, instead of delivering it to my home, they delivered it to the local post office. Which I was like, I don't understand why that happened because it's not like I live in like a rural area or
It's a semi-rural area.
I've never
Yeah.
had any problems in the
Right.
past with like USPS or
FedEx.
FedEx or
FedEx,
UPS.
UPS.
Never had any other issues. But anyways, I think that was where the confusion happened, was because I never got like a notification that it got dropped off there. I had to like figure that out. And then again, on the USPS side, it said it was delivered. But obviously it was nowhere on my front porch.
It was delivered to them.
Right. And then when I went to my post office, they said, "Oh yeah, our tracking marker that we're like the delivery person delivered it is right at your mailbox." And I was like, "It is nowhere on the ground, in the ditch, it's nowhere around my mailbox. So if it was, it's not there. So either someone stole it or it got delivered to the wrong house." And they were like, "We'll try and figure out something." And again, I gave them a week and nothing happened. I went back to go check on it, and they're like, "We don't really have anything. It's not here. It's not there. All of our systems say it's there. You're saying it's not there." And I was like, we're just going, it's a he said, she said thing between the U.S. Postal Service and me. And so I'm not sure if my neighbor got it and just never gave it to me or whatever. But regardless, I contacted the original, the people that I purchased it from. Was like, "Hey, so like, it's not here." And they were able to just send me out the same package again. They're like, "If it gets lost again, I don't know what to tell you, but we'll send it out to again for."
Did you get it this time?
I did. Okay, good. And it came on time. But the same thing happened.
Didn't they send it DHL the second time?
They sent it.
Lord.
Exactly.
I'd be like, what?
Yeah. They sent the tracking number, and I was like, "Not again." But I kept an eye on it. They sent it to the post office, and then the post office did send it here. So I'm not sure if just something got. I'm not sure if the delivery guy got mixed up. Anyways, all I'm saying is that was what happened like last month, and I was like, "Oh goodness."
Well, we mentioned Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon responsible for roughly 7.5% of USPS revenue.
I'm going to say here, and I've said it before, I hate Amazon. I hate it so much.
Right now, it's building its own delivery empire, and they just walk away from it altogether. If that happens, I don't know what the post office is going to do.
I'm telling you, the amount of Amazon delivery trucks that are littering the streets now.
Because they just
luckily they're still Temu.
They just contract that out.
I know.
Luckily they're still Temu. Okay.
Oh my God, it's even worse. But and that's also my problem. I'll say this, and we'll move off of this. I think that once upon a time, Amazon did have some good stuff.
Sure.
But ever since the invention of Temu, I think that there has been a lot of slopification of the items on Amazon to try and compete with the cheap,
the real Amazon stuff.
Yeah, right. And so
because anybody can sell on Amazon.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is like now, like you have to really like Amazon Choice, top seller. Like none of that means anything anymore. That's all just like it's all AI generated stuff. Like helps get your item at the top of the list, but it's all cheap stuff now to try and combat with the sales of Temu. And like, anyways, it's just a bunch of stuff where I'm like, I think that once upon a time, I think Amazon was good, but now now it's all just
now
cheap.
I'm hearing that they be going to. Looks like they will look at drone delivery.
Yes. I know. They've been talking about that for years.
So I think it's surprised they're just going to have these little drones dropping off packages.
Yep.
And again, guess how that's going to happen? AI.
Yeah, data
because
centers.
that's not going to be, somebody doing it. Oh, let me fly that over there for you.
Think about it. If somehow you could perfect that, now you're not having stuff stuck in traffic.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
If you can perfect...
Yeah, but what happens to your airspace? When you got 10,000 drones flying over your town...
The FAA is going to have to step in probably if it gets... But I have a feeling that's coming.
They fly at a low enough altitude. I don't think it'd probably be a problem. But now they probably couldn't fly those anywhere near the airspace of like airplanes at all. You could, if you live anywhere even remotely near an airport, you can't get drone delivery probably.
Right? Yeah.
But if you live out in the middle of nowhere, you're probably fine.
Yeah. So I could see that happening and perfecting that. If you can get that where you can just pop it off and
I remember like it's probably been 5 or
you get a little alert on your phone. Drone incoming.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout.
Yeah. I think it was like 5 or so years ago. Amazon used to use the Mercedes Sprinter trucks. The same thing as like the little small ambulances.
Mm-hmm.
But now they moved to all their own proprietary electric vehicles for all their stuff now.
I see them in my neighborhood all the time.
That's what I'm saying. They're everywhere. You can't get away from them.
Yeah. Yeah, but I tell you what, if you can perfect air delivery.
Oh yeah.
That would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It really would.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm telling
But
you.
then at the same time, you're talking about not paying. Let's say hypothetically that it's not AI powered and someone's actually flying to your home, in a little VR headset or whatever. That's still less people. You have to pay
well, it's like with anything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what's happening. We've talked about other technologies and other places that are being replaced with. I mean, look at McDonald's now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's you have a couple people there, and
oh yeah. I went to a fast food restaurant recently, and they had the AI talk box thing. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Thanks.
I can't.
Teller. I mean, the teller is fixing to. That's pretty much what you may have one person there.
Because now all the ATMs do it all.
Yeah. So I mean, I as I'm saying, it's
They've got it now to where you don't even have to go cash your paycheck. You can take a picture of it and deposit it.
That's what I'm saying.
And
that's what I've done.
Anytime
I get like a check, I'll
take a picture of it, give the check back to the person.
No, I hold on to it until it processes through, and then I avoid it.
Well, you can probably do it right there in front of them.
I do. Well, not really in front of them. I usually, like when I've done that, I will walk to my office, take a picture of it, and deposit it, and then like after a business day, it processes through. But I hold on to the check, and just in case something happens.
Right.
They tell you that. They're obviously like, don't void the checkout until it processes through, because if you do, then you're screwed. Because if it bounces or whatever. So a lot of times I also don't. I've never liked having to write a check to somebody and they don't cash it immediately. And then, of course, it's just in limbo. I always never liked that. So I try to be diligent about cashing the check the second I get it.
Well, they say 70% of delivery routes are unprofitable.
70%?
70%.
Cool. That's crazy.
There was an article in Business Insider. That just shows you what's going on there, because a lot of these areas are probably rural areas,
right? And
you're probably delivering large packages, and
you
you got fuel right now. Fuel is going up. I mean, it's and then you got the real sensitive stuff. You got labor and pensions and benefits. I mean,
you got to pay people.
Huge expense. Well, it's more than just paying people. I mean, you're paying for their returement. You're paying
people.
for you're paying for medical, and that's not cheap. So I mean, but when you have 70% of your delivery routes are unprofitable, see, private companies can just say, we're not delivering.
Yeah,
but think about how it would also affect like just the way the government operates. Like court notices.
Oh yeah.
How do you get your court notice now?
Oh yeah.
How do you get that's all mail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all mail. The licensing agencies, all of these things go back and forth.
IRS tax stuff.
IRS tax stuff.
Yeah.
You see, but now they want you to do all that online now.
Right.
And it's kind of crazy, because I think what's going to happen is that the post office is not going to stop delivering letters. They're going to change it to first class, where you got to pay $7 and you can get a tracking number. They're going to go for the more profitable, instead of a 75-cent stamp. No, you got to do this thing over here, or email it.
Yeah,
and give that. So they can't really stop doing it. They're just going to
find ways to make it profitable.
Find ways to make it profitable.
Well, it has a $15 billion borrowing cap.
A million or billion? Billion? Cool. Okay.
15 billion borrowing cap. So that's about that's all they can do.
Okay.
So if they're losing 9 billion,
they're not far away.
They're not far away.
Wow.
From that. I mean, we threw around 5 billion, 9 billion. I mean, it's like it's
that's a lot. That's unfathomable.
If you had to stack that up in front of you, that's quite a lot of. That's a lot of money.
Yes. People don't realize, I've watched some videos about this recently. People don't realize the astronomical increase from million to billion. Mm-hmm. It just, because of the way the words are sounding, it just feels like, it's just like one extra zero, but like, or a couple extra zeros, like 2 or 3 or whatever. But like the astronomical increase of that is substantial. And how much more space that can fill, or time that can span, or whatever. It's crazy.
Well,
it's a big number.
I'm telling you, I remember I was best friend. I mean, I was a kid watching talking to my postman every day.
Yeah.
You know, he was like a buddy. You know, it was like, you know, hey, you doing, George, or whatever the case may be. And he was, here's your mail. And I remember just grabbing it from him. But you think about in today's world, in some of today's neighborhoods that they got to go into and deliver mail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys getting attacked.
Really?
There's a lot of ladies now delivering mail. And you could imagine the potential targets they are.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. And then, of course, you got people that are just, now they're just flat out stealing.
That's crazy.
Well, I think for me, it's more of the mail carriers. You can, like, even in Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana, where 2 or 3 times they found a canal full of mail because the postal carrier just didn't feel like carrying it and dumped it into the canal.
Really?
Yeah, just dumped it.
That's crazy.
I mean, you're going to know who you are by the mail that's in there.
For real.
And who was supposed to be delivering it.
I'm reading an article in The Sun. It says the name of the article is Bite the Bullet. United States Post Office loses an actual Uzi submachine gun in the mail. And nobody's admitting anything.
Wow. You lose an actual weapon in the mail.
Firearms dealer Steve Thompson opted for top security mail service when he sent the Israeli 9mm Uzi submachine gun in February. So this is this year.
Really?
But it still disappeared just days later.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it, quote unquote, lost in the mail. That's somebody stole that.
He says he shipped it from Portage, Ohio, where his business, Adco Firearms, is based, to a buyer in Florida on February 4th. USPS tracking information showed it was moved to Pontiac, Michigan, before arriving at a facility in Detroit on February 6th.
Oh, that's your
there
problem.
you go.
That's your problem right there.
There you go.
Ding,
ding, ding, ding.
NBC affiliate WDIV reported. There, the package was left to process, but had never made it out. Clearly, somebody in the Detroit plant knows what happened, Thompson speculated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most packages get x-rayed.
Oh, yeah. Even if you don't, even if it just says like high security or whatever, or if it has any kind of marker of like it being some sort of firearm of any way, like that's all it would take.
He says Thompson, who sold the gun for $25,000 and insured it for $20,000,
Holy.
had sent the package as registered mail, meaning it was traveling under the most secure service. It was expected to be protected by safes, cages, sealed containers, locks, and keys, the outlet reported.
Until Detroit.
The baffled sender filed a claim with USPS, but was bizarrely denied twice until the service finally agreed to pay the insured amount.
Wow.
Now the question is where's the gun?
It's in the black market now.
Somebody stole that gun.
Yeah, somebody stole that gun.
The VIN number is definitely scratched off that one.
Yeah.
If the gun is worth $25,000,
Because I'm sure now the federal government's going to be involved in that.
Oh,
Because
100%.
That's a registered machine gun. And
yes.
Yeah, the ATF is probably going to have to investigate that.
Yeah, somebody's definitely
Well,
going to
the
jail
U.S.
for
the
that.
postal inspector will, the inspector general, they have their own, in essence,
of course.
police.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, at one time I thought about joining them when I got out of college. It was
Really?
one of the agencies I had thought
Considered,
about joining.
Okay.
I looked at them. And probably would have done pretty good if I would have went with them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they pay well.
Maybe you could have found the Uzi.
Maybe I could have found the Uzi.
Well.
But yeah,
Interesting.
so they've got problems. I mean, they just do, and it's. I just think that the system is just. They're gonna have to do something different with this. I don't know what the fix is. They're either gonna have to change the model,
Right.
or they may just dissolve it.
But then what would fill its void?
Which you would have to do then?
Private
you would have to.
equity or whatever?
The government would contract.
Oh,
With,
gosh, I hate that.
With Amazon or FedEx or UPS or whatever the case may be. And, they would basically pay these companies a subsidy, in essence, because they'll have to make up
the
losses
difference. Yeah.
for having to go out to areas that they didn't have to go out to before.
Right.
So it means gas and maintenance on vehicles and everything else. That's what I'm saying. I think if you can perfect the air delivery model, however that would look.
Right.
I think that would be, because I mean, you've basically cut fuel out of it altogether.
Right.
I mean, you do.
Or unless all of them go towards some sort of electric option. But
Yeah.
that still it doesn't fix the whole problem, but it does alleviate some of it, I guess.
Yeah, I just think the model that it was built on just doesn't, that world doesn't exist ananymore.
Right.
And,
And
as I
it's
said,
quickly not existing anymore.
I mean, I can't tell you, I don't put much in the mail
right.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I put something in the mail for the first time not long ago. I mean, maybe a day or two ago I did, and because I had to.
Yeah.
Put a stamp on it, traditional method, and dropped
Right.
it in mail. So
And just pray it gets there.
pray it gets there.
Yep.
Luckily, it's here. It was local, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get there. But yeah,
I have a red flag on my mailbox, and I've never used it. So it's crazy. It's funny for me. Like again, I once upon a time I used to get bills for my electricity or for my credit card before I went paperless, and I've always paid credit card stuff or some big important bills like for me electricity online. And so when you're swapping services, a lot of times they'll still send you like the first bill or whatever on paper until you opt out of it. And just to think for me of like you get the envelope in the pack, and like in your little, you get the envelope inside the envelope that's like, hey, send your check or your money. And I'm like, that scares me to think that like this is a paid envelope that I like a Postal Service envelope that I can like send to you guys and just like pray that it pays my bill. Like that scares me a little bit, but that's how the world operated for a long time.
Yeah, but you never thought about it because it always they did it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I just think now with e-commerce and online payments, I think it's just, I mean, that's what I do now every month. I sit down with my iPad and I log into my bank and I write the checks, electronic to wherever, and that's it. It's done. It's almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do the same thing. I sit right there and I have all the different websites pulled up, and I sit there and I'll get them all paid up and then I'm done.
So
it's crazy.
Did you mention about you? I think you mentioned about the mail volume, the amount that it fell. Yeah, it's I don't know. There's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you fix that.
I know that this has been like a slow process, but I wonder when that like dramatic change happened. Was it in the 2000s or was it? I know it feels pretty recent for me. I know my parents used to still go to like certain places to pay for utilities whenever I was like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like they used to go drive to like the water company or whatever to go pay the bill or drop it off or whatever. That was a big thing. Or gas utility.
They're seeking a temporary 8% increase on certain packaged products beginning April 26th of this year.
Mm.
And that's all driven by transportation fuel costs.
I know that the stamp price has been.
Well, they say first-class stamps would not be affected by that temporary package surcharge, but
they'll always find
eventually they're going to have to raise that. I think.
Yeah,
they're just going to have to.
I know that stamps are expensive now, but it makes sense for me. I'm like, obviously, I know that this is inevitable kind of thing where post office got to make some money somehow.
Well, they say Steiner told Congress that USPS needs more pricing flexibility. An outside reporting says lawmakers are discussing the possibility of stamp prices rising beyond the current 78 cents, potentially to 90 cents, 95 cents, or $1, depending on the path chosen. So they can raise or they can just flat out start cutting routes. Now, see, this is where I think the idea of air drone, this is where I could see that could fill that gap.
Right.
To take care of the rural areas where you can just fly a drone.
Right.
Now,
But I think also it has to have range, though.
Yeah,
You
see,
have to have-
drones don't have that kind of range.
Well, it
Well,
depends.
you would
They'd
have
be
to-
great in like New York.
Yeah.
you would have to
could get-
build out a network
Right,
for
right.
it. I think you would have to build out. Maybe you can
Maybe
utilize.
like they could call it the Pony Express drone service, because
Yeah, yeah.
that's what it was a big relay service.
You could probably utilize the existing towers, cell towers
Right,
that to add, whatever
Yeah.
equipment that would need to be able to, the drone can latch onto and be able to keep on going. So, I mean, I think it's
Just make sure none of
it's
the
not just the range of the signal.
Right.
You
Battery.
got satellites for that. It's the battery range is
Yeah.
what
That's
I thought
what
he
I'm
was
saying.
talking about, because that's not gonna. You
No,
don't
that's
have
what
that
I'm
kind of range on those drones.
Well, I'm not thinking round trip too. If you go,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if you stop off at a few places, you can only go so far before you have to go back and recharge. Is what I was thinking. But against that would probably put you in whatever sphere that would be.
Well, you're going to have
Anyways,
to
I
have
don't
a little pad on your house now.
yeah.
And when it
a little
drops
helipad?
it off, because it's going to drop it off and then get a recharge, and then it goes
It
back.
goes
So you don't have
back.
to pay for the
Oh,
shipping
okay.
and to recharge
Well, no,
the drone to go
that's
back.
that's like a premium level.
Okay.
If I want the premium drone, you have
Yeah.
to purchase the recharge pad.
The recharge
Yeah.
pad.
Yeah. That's
Well, they've
interesting.
talked about. I mean, this is ongoing. I mean, this is like March. So, I mean, this is recent stuff. Says leadership and lawmakers have openly discussed options like reducing delivery frequency or closing facility. I remember when they went to Saturdays.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was always Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
and I remember when I was like, "Oh, great, another day to get bills."
Well, you still got delivered on Saturday, but the post office wasn't open on Saturday. It was open Monday. You still got delivery on Saturday,
Right.
but that was
What if they close? What if we decide to close on Saturdays?
See, I wonder what that would cost and maybe help them. I don't need to, really.
Yeah. Send it to me on Monday.
But what about the people at work? Monday through
Figure it
Friday.
out.
Yeah, right?
I've recently been thinking about this. There are some pleasures in life that I don't think we really appreciate. And the fact that yes, stamps are more expensive compared to what they used to be. This is still a wonderful service that we get. I think we kind of we take for granted. I didn't think about this. How much is a bushel of bananas? Realistically, what, $5, maybe $6? Am I wrong? Or
I don't know.
And I'm just trying to think about the fact of you can go to your local store, convenience store, Walmart, whatever's around you, and for not a whole lot of money, you can get a bushel of bananas that had to that were in a different part of the world that had to get put on a ship and made over here, a whole bunch of other stuff that had to get there's a whole process and a whole network of things that got the bananas to you. That's kind of crazy to think about. And
And everybody wants their cut.
Right,
Because you got
yeah.
the middleman,
You're
the
right.
middleman, the middleman,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
middleman,
yeah.
and then the grocery
Yeah.
store guy who really wants
and
to make
so
a profit
and a lot of
too.
times, sometimes they get too expensive. And again, I know we've talked about before, on the pre-show, we talked about RAM and graphics cards and how now it's kind of being gouged because obviously,
I don't know
AI.
I don't know what's happened to computer hardware.
It's all AI is a big thing. It's a
Yeah, but
lot
I
of
don't
people.
understand the point. Why are these prices? I still don't understand how that affects memory.
So
Is it more is being used in these other applications? There's less out there for
So,
people to buy
a lot of these AI
for
data?
the consumer market.
Yes, a lot of AI data centers require a lot of random access memory, which is RAM, in order to make a lot of the processes work. And then, of course, for a lot of the image generation, it needs a lot of memory on the graphics card end. So, regardless, if you're doing large language models, you need a lot of RAM to make that happen. So these big data centers need hundreds of sticks of RAM for their all their different servers to operate. And so a lot of times they'll just purchase large swaths of memory, which again adds scarcity to it, and of course it makes
Everything is
ever goes up.
supply and demand kicks
Right,
in.
right. And so that's a big thing right now. Is it because technologies are happening where there's a big thing right now that Google is making a new form of RAM called super quant or whatever the heck it's called, where it can basically quadruple the amount of memory that it's. I forgot I forgot the terminology, but it's like for one stick of RAM you can get 4 times the power out of it, and so now like
they've made it more efficient.
RAM prices are potentially going to be going down in the next few months because there's this new thing that could be coming out that you can do more with less or whatever. But now graphics cards are apparently being bought up in large margins, and of course hiking the price. It's a big thing. But all I'm saying is, like, what the banana situation I was talking about is like sometimes I kind of take for granted the fact that it's just the convenience of like you can get this right here, and even though you're paying a portion of money for it, it's still like, I don't know. I kind of find the beauty in that, and like it's still, I don't know. It kind of feels like a first world problem to kind of complain about some of the prices of things that are not too terribly large, but I know that obviously inflation's causing a lot of things to go astronomically high, so it doesn't always go 1-to-1. But I look at the post office and I'm like, man, what would we do without the post office? And some people probably don't use it. You're right. So I guess it just depends. But
I don't know, guys. I think we've got I think Congress is going to have to figure out how they want the post office to act.
Yeah.
I think they want it to act like a business, but the reality is the rules doesn't allow it to act like a business. Right. So I don't.
We all just need to start sending more letters.
Well, I
don't think that's going to happen.
No, I'm joking.
I don't think those days. I think the days of letters, unless there's some solar flare that knocks out everything that I think that world is over with.
This is our announcement. We're opening up a P.O. box, so send us. I'm kidding.
Everybody with Venmo, PayPal, or all these electronic methods that we use now to move money. Mm-hmm. And this kind of goes back to the whole thing of
I had someone
electronic money.
I had someone send me a Cash App for guitar strings recently. And I was like, it's crazy. Like once upon a time, I'm about to do some work on setting up a friend's guitar, and they were like, "How much do I need to send to you for like all the stuff or whatever?" And I was like, it's not gonna be that much money. And they're like, "I don't have any cash on me. Or just can we use like Cash App or something?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got a couple of them. I think I signed up for Venmo and Cash App because of necessity, because everyone else had it, and they're like, I don't have any way of sending money to you." And I was like, okay, so. I got paid for a little side job, a little side gig. I got paid on Venmo. It's crazy. Yeah, I got Venmo, the money for a job.
I don't have Venmo. I don't use Venmo.
I never used it either. But again, out of this necessity, again, I wanted to get paid for the job, and so I was like, I'll download it and I'll get it set up. And sure enough, it worked. And now, obviously, I'm trying to be cautious with it. I don't want to give out all my like banking information. So like, I set up my card that I want to be sent to. I'm like, I don't need you knowing my balance. I don't need you knowing all the extra, like, you don't need to know all that stuff. Like, you don't need my routing number. Like, no, just here's the debit card, forward the money that way. And if it costs a little extra fee to do that, then whatever. But anyways, so, yeah. I mean, it seems like the post office may go away, but I don't know. Maybe I'm old school.
Maybe not soon. Not soon.
I'm old school. I think I like the post office still. I still use it, on a pretty monthly basis, I think.
I don't, as long as the United States can keep printing money, because you just can't keep losing that kind of money and somehow expect to just keep going. I mean, somebody's eventually going to step up and say, we need to do something different here. Right.
You need to close on Saturdays. I think we decided.
I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that at all. Like I said, if there's anything, I can't even imagine. Like, even if something's like pretty mission critical, I don't think
I'd be very curious what the labor and pension costs for the post office.
Did we say how many employees was it in like the millions?
Stoney, I think, mentioned the employees.
630,000.
Really? Wow. Okay, 630,000.
I'm curious what they have on pension costs. Or
how is there like a time limit for pension? Does it or is it just it's in perpetuity?
It's for life.
Okay, interesting.
A true pension is.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's probably eating up a lot of cost right there. Do we need to get in on our post office pension now?
I'm pulling it up to see what it says. Now, this is just a quick search here. It's U.S. Post Office spends over $10 billion per year on pension and retirement-related costs.
$10 billion?
$10 billion.
That's probably what's eating up all that debt right there.
Yeah, it said USPS pension funding requirements were over $10 billion in 2024. They said of that, about $5.5 billion goes toward paying down unfunded pension liabilities, old debt.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, total retirement-related costs hit about $10.3 billion in 2025.
Wow.
That's pension payments, retiree health benefits, and ongoing. And we all know how expensive health insurance is. So, I mean, that just gets passed down.
Folded over into all of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, they say estimates show roughly $31 billion plus in pension-related liabilities still unpaid and growing.
Wow.
So, in essence, what you have is what you've promised.
Yes.
And how much money you have, basically to pay it, which is always you'll hear the term the unaccrued liability of a system.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on this is what you've promised,
right?
This is actually how much you have, and that difference is
okay.
So that's why a lot of people have gotten rid of pensions. I'm a benefit of a pension, so of course I'm very much in favor of them, but I understand there are a lot of people that don't have pensions.
Right.
And they look at you and go, why am I paying your salary while you're not even working?
Right.
So I get that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But, those are the promises. That's what you signed up for when you started working. And
here we are.
Yeah.
I served my time.
Tracy tells me all the time, and where she works, she at one time had a pension. Yeah. They did away with it.
Yeah, really? Into 401ks and other things,
Wow.
Where you're basically paying yourself.
Yeah.
You take some money out. Yes. And maybe the company matches it to a certain extent, and then it gets in investments, and hopefully the investments do well. And we found out a while back when they crashed and so many people lost their retirements and stuff. So, but they've gone away from the pensions because the companies don't want to do that anymore, to where let's help you do your own financial future.
That's a way for them to get off the hook.
Oh, of course.
Exactly a way for them to get off the hook.
They say USPS is required to fund its own pensions out of operating revenue, not taxpayer funding like most federal agencies.
Really?
Yeah. So, that's eating into their profit, of staying solvent. They're having to pay that, and that just keeps going up.
Yeah.
It just does.
Maybe it was the U.S. Post Office that brought in the COVID thing to start killing off the old people in America, too.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if that would help. I don't even know. I'm not even recommending that. But you close on Saturdays and you stop future pensions.
Well, they're going. If they bring it to an even more business model, that may be what they do.
Yeah.
We'll get a 401k. We'll match your investment, and hopefully you'll do okay in the finance world.
Right.
So, now this is something. In 2006, there was a law that was passed by Congress called the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was first put forth as a reform, but in reality, it added a financial weight, and it required the USPS to pre-fund retiree health benefits decades in advance.
What?
Yeah.
How would that? How would you do that?
Pre-fund retiree health benefits decades in advance. Said they weren't just paying current retirees; they were required to set aside money for employees who hadn't even been hired yet.
Wow. So having a savings account for future.
Exactly.
Well, basically what it sounds like is Congress is making them put money aside so they can dip into it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they say USPS had to pay roughly $5 to $6 billion per year into retiree health pre-funding alone.
Wow.
on top of billions more in pension obligations for existing employees.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's insane.
Kind of like they're in Social Security. They're dipping
yeah.
their hand. Well, we need to build this up.
Yeah. How many hands you got in the cookie jars?
this says, here's the part that changes. It says that most federal agencies, their pensions are backed by the U.S. Treasury.
Mm-hmm.
Private companies fund pensions gradually over time, and the USPS required to aggressively pre-fund future benefits using only its own revenue.
Wow.
No taxpayer-operated subsidy, no flexibility, no pause button.
Really? And they still do that? Or is that...
Now, in 2022, they passed another law. They're good at passing laws. It's called the Postal Service Reform Act of 2022. This law eliminated the pre-funding mandate going forward.
Okay, so they stopped it.
It reduced some long-term liabilities that helped stabilize the bleeding, but there's a catch. It didn't erase the existing debt that had piled up.
Right.
So the Postal Service is still carrying tens of billions in retirement liabilities built up over years of missing or partial payments.
That's wild. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
I hope that I mean, I don't know. I'd hate to see it go. I hope that they are able to work something out. But again, in this new modern world, who knows what it's going to look like?
Too many things working against it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. If anybody out there has any stories or horror stories or traumatic events from the Postal Service, please let us know about it. I'm curious to hear.
Or if you worked for the post office and want to share some of the tea, let us know.
Yeah, if you're still getting your pension, let us know. That's where
if you got a partial payment pension, let us know.
But we have comment sections on YouTube and Spotify where you can send your responses that way, or our email address, getinfinitetogether@gmail.com, where you can send the more long-form responses. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform you listen to us on. We really appreciate it.
And share us out there.
Yeah, anybody that you know who may have worked at the Postal Service. The local Postal Service lady, I go there occasionally, and she's such a nice individual, and I love talking with her.
Miss Brittany?
Yeah, yes,
I love Miss Brittany.
Anyways,
I love Miss Brittany.
But anyways, a wonderful person. So anyways, share this with your local post office individual. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
When you really look at the history of the U.S. Postal Service, one thing becomes impossible to miss. Adaptability is what made it powerful. It kept changing because America kept changing. When cities grew, it adapted. When rural communities needed service, it adapted. When packages mattered more, it adapted. When distance demanded speed, it adapted. This is the pattern. So maybe the real question is not whether the USPS still matters. The real question is whether it knows still how to adapt with the same courage that made it matter in the first place. Because what we have now is a country, whether the old letter model is fading, the package world is hyper-competitive, and the digital world is swallowing more and more of everyday life. And in that kind of moment, survival belongs to the system that can bridge old trust with the new reality. This is where the USPS still has a shot. By not trying to relive the past, not by pretending email never happened, not by cutting itself to the bone and calling that innovation, but by beginning reliable and trustworthy again. By becoming the easiest shipping partner for everyday Americans and small businesses, by using its footprint, its reach, and public trust in smarter ways. In other words, by adapting like it used to. Because the old story of the post office is not really about letters. It was about staying connected across distance, change, and time. And if the USPS wants to stay relevant, that mission still works. It just needs a modern form. The country changed, the mission did not. Now the adaptability has to come back. Thanks for joining us today. You're the best. Peace.